All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Tanvi Thaneja and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver a keynote address at Grand Challenges annual meeting via video conference this evening. Mumbai Metro to resume services this morning. Indian and Sri Lankan navies to begin their annual exercise climax today. Israel and Bahrain formally established diplomatic ties following a US brokered deal. And in badminton, Nozomi Okuhara clinches the women's singles title at the Denmark Open. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focusing on hand and face hygiene. Now on to the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver the virtual keynote address at the inaugural function of the Grand Challenges annual meeting GCAM 2020 today. GCAM has fostered international innovation collaborations to address challenges in health and development for the last 15 years. The GCAM 2020 will bring together policymakers and scientific leaders calling for deepened scientific collaborations in solving global health problems with great emphasis on COVID-19 with an India for the World framing. Co-chair of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, will present the plenary framing conversation. Grand Challenges India was set up as a partnership between the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in 2012, and Welcome also joined the partnership. Grand Challenges India works across a range of health and developmental priorities from agriculture, nutrition, sanitation, maternal and child health to infectious diseases. A report.
The 3-day brainstorming program will feature leaders' talks, panel discussions and virtual informal conversations on various topics. These topics will range from scientific interventions for fighting the pandemic, managing the pandemic, and accelerating the development and implementation of global solutions to combat it. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan will deliver the opening remarks. Approximately 1,600 people from 40 countries are expected to take part in this meeting. The GCAM 2020 will be co-hosted by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, the Indian Council of Medical Research and Niti Aayog, along with the Grand Challenges Canada, the United States Agency for International Development and Welcome. With Anand Kumar, Suparna Saikya, AIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the centenary convocation 2020 of the University of Mysore through video conference today. Karnataka Governor and other dignitaries will be present on the occasion. The University of Mysore was established on 27th of July 1916. It was the 6th university in the country and first in the state of Karnataka.
Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan refuted the claim made by China that there was a simultaneous outbreak of coronavirus across the world. He cited lack of clinching evidence to support the argument. He was answering questions during his weekly public media interaction Sunday Samvad yesterday.
To validate this claim that there were multiple focal points across the world, I would like to make it clear that no such clinching evidence is as yet available regarding this. Therefore, the reported outbreak of COVID-19 from Wuhan in China has been recognized as the first report worldwide.
In response to a question on India's dependence on China for active pharmaceutical ingredients, the minister said that measures have been taken to make India self-reliant in the manufacturing of APIs.
The government has sanctioned the development of 3 mega bulk drug parks in India focused on manufacturing of 56 active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs, which are essential for affordable healthcare. The government has also announced its intention to introduce a production-linked incentive scheme aimed to boost indigenous manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients and key starting materials. All these measures will decrease our dependence on imported APIs and gradually make us self-reliant.
India's active cases have fallen below 8 lakhs after 6 weeks and continues its downward slide. Health Ministry said 22 states and union territories have less than 20,000 active cases. Only 3 states and UTs are reporting more than 50,000 active case load.
Gujarat recorded 1,091 fresh cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate has improved to 88.68%. More from our correspondent.
Number of new cases detected in Gujarat dropped below the 1100 mark. Total 1,41,652 patients recovered from COVID-19 till now. 1,233 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 53,74,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. Maximum 239 new cases reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 183 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 14,436, out of which 74 patients are on ventilator. 9 patients died yesterday, taking the total death due to COVID-19 up to 3,638. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Karnataka, 7,012 new cases of COVID-19 were reported yesterday, taking the tally to 7,65,586. Amongst the new cases, Bengaluru reported the highest number of 3,535 cases and the lowest number of 7 cases being reported from Bihar. On the other hand, 8,344 people were cured and discharged from various hospitals in the state. In Tamil Nadu, the new corona cases in the past 24 hours dropped below the 4,000 mark for the first time after many months. The active caseload has also come under the 40,000 mark. A report.
The per-day figure of the new COVID-19 cases in Tamil Nadu has begun dropping below 5,000 since the 12th of this month. Since then, the graph shows a sustained marginal dip. It has reached 3,914 yesterday, a new low after many months. The active caseload has also come down to 39,121. Meanwhile, the medical specialists say they have learned that in treating the viral infection, oxygen cannulas are more in demand than ventilators, and therefore its seamless supply has been ensured. The doctors say that in addition to the focused attention on the lungs of the symptomatic patients, controlling blood clots due to the toxic virus also assumes importance in many cases. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Odisha, the active COVID-19 case load has further dipped to less than 23,000. With the recovery of 2,610 patients yesterday, the total recovery in the state has gone up to 2,46,837. On the other hand, with the fresh infection of 2,019 people, the cumulative case load has also increased to 2,68,364. Cricketer Suresh Raina has appealed to people to follow all COVID-related precautions to stay safe from coronavirus.
मेरी तरफ से सभी उन लोगों को एक हिदायत है कि प्लीज वेयर अ मास्क, मेंटेन द सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, बी वाइल्ड, बी सेल्फिश, आई वुड से, एंड एट द सेम टाइम बी वेरी वेरी पॉजिटिव, बिकॉज वर्क हार्ड, ट्राई टू डू लॉट ऑफ योगा, डू रनिंग. आप कोशिश करिए कि फैमिली के साथ टाइम स्पेंड करें. घर वापस आए तो आप सेफ रहें, आपके बच्चे हैं, आपके माता पिता हैं, तो मेरी सबको ये रिक्वेस्ट है कि प्लीज मेंटेन योर डिस्टेंस, डू सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, लुक आफ्टर ईच एंड एवरीवन.
Talking to All India Radio News, Dr. Aparna Agarwal of Lady Hardinge Medical College, New Delhi, urged people to follow 4 key safety measures to stay safe from COVID-19 during the upcoming festive season.
बेसिक 4 चीजें हाथ अपने साफ रखने हैं, मास्क हमेशा पहनना है, फिजिकल डिस्टेंसिंग रखनी है और खांसी जुकाम किसी का गला खराब हो तो अपने को अलग रखना है, क्वारंटाइन करके रखना है. इन चीजों का हमको खास ध्यान रखना है हर समय, और त्योहार के समय में अभी सीजन में इसका और खास ध्यान रखना है, क्योंकि अगर हम ये सावधानी नहीं बरतेंगे तो अपने घर वालों के अलावा दूसरों को भी कोरोना फैला सकते हैं.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before I beg your pardon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver a keynote address at Grand Challenges annual meeting via video conferencing this evening. Mumbai Metro to resume services this morning. Indian and Sri Lankan navies to begin their annual exercise Flynex today. Israel and Bahrain formally established diplomatic ties following a US brokered deal. And in badminton, Nozomi Okuhara clinches women's singles title at Denmark Open. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
देखिए फिल्म जगत के कई मशहूर कलाकारों के साथ भगवान श्री राम के जन्म स्थान अयोध्या से रामलीला डीडी नेशनल पर लाइव 17 से 25 अक्टूबर रोज शाम 7 बजे से रात 10 बजे तक और इसका पुनः प्रसारण 18 से 26 अक्टूबर डीडी भारती पर सुबह 9 बजे से दोपहर 12 बजे तक और दोपहर 3 बजे से शाम 6 बजे तक डीडी नेशनल पर।
News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you program Employment News in association with the Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. An effective platform for information on job vacancies, training programs, admission notices, results and career advice with experts. Every day at 4:20 p.m. on FM Gold and other frequencies and on our YouTube channel AIR News Official.
Metro Railway in Mumbai is resuming its service from today. However, trains will run with a limited number of passengers to maintain social distancing, and the number of services will be limited in the initial phase. The commuters who do not clear the health checkup, including the temperature check, will not be allowed to enter the metro. More from our correspondent.
After remaining shut for 7 months, Mumbai Metro is resuming its services from today. Entire metro staff is equipped with necessary safety gears and health desks. Health checkup kiosks have been set up at all entry points. While travelling, wearing mask will be mandatory. Metro has adopted a contactless ticketing system and QR code-based tickets will be issued to the commuters. Social distancing floor stickers have been pasted near ticket counters, security checkpoints, AFC gates, on escalators, at platforms and inside the train. The commuters who do not clear the health checks, including a temperature check, will not be allowed to enter the metro. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Uttar Pradesh, schools will reopen today for students of class 9th to 12th after a gap of around 7 months. The state government has not only issued guidelines in this regard, but also deputed officers for inspection to ensure strict compliance of COVID protocols. Our correspondent tells us more.
After a long gap, the classrooms will again become noisy with the voices of students who will reach there in an altogether different environment. Clad with masks and maintaining the 6 feet distance in classes, which will only have 50% occupancy, the classroom will take another look. Thanks to COVID, students will sure going to miss the usual exchange of notes, stationery and any other goods which is now prohibited under new guidelines. Apart from the usual blackboard, chalk and duster, this time there will be some new elements like sanitizers, hand wash, thermal scanning and arrangement for primary treatment in the schools. As per the guidelines, children will be able to come to school only with the consent of parents. Sushilkumar Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Today is the last day for withdrawal of candidature for the second phase of assembly elections in Bihar. 94 assembly seats spread over 17 districts will go to polls in this phase on the 3rd of November. 1,514 nomination papers for this phase have been found valid after scrutiny. The filing of nominations for the third and final phase will end tomorrow. 240 candidates have filed their nominations for this phase so far. One candidate has filed a nomination for by-polls to Valmiki Nagar Lok Sabha seat. By-polls to this seat will be held along with the final phase of assembly elections in the state. Campaigning has intensified for the first and second phase of assembly polls in the state. A report.
Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and Deputy Chief Minister Sushilkumar Modi addressed election rallies jointly for the first time. During election meeting at Tarari, Jagdishpur, Dumrao and Buxar, the Chief Minister said Bihar attained new height in respect of development and rule of law got established in the state. Sushilkumar Modi appealed to the people to vote in favor of NDA candidates to speed up development in Bihar. Senior Congress leader and Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel claimed that the party will win 50 seats and Tejasvi Yadav will be the next Chief Minister. RLSP Chief Upendra Kushwaha and Hindustani Awam Morcha leader Jitan Ram Manjhi also addressed election meetings in support of their party candidates. With KK Lal's report, Tanvi Khurana, AIR News.
Madhya Pradesh ranks first in the country in terms of 50% concession in bus fares to the Divyang persons. At the same time, the state is second in providing a unique disability identity card, UDID, to the Divyang Jan. Andhra Pradesh tops in the country in providing UDID cards. More from our correspondent.
Unique ID for persons with disabilities project is being implemented with a view of creating a national database for persons with disabilities and to issue a unique disability identity card to these persons. Commissioner of Disabled Welfare Department of the state, Sandeep Rajak, told AIR that so far 6,60,000 people have been issued Divyang certificates in the state. Out of these, more than 5 lakh people have been given UDID cards.
UDID card आधार कार्ड जैसा ये कार्ड होता है तो वो उसके आधार पर जो है उनको बसों में जो है जहाँ पे परिवहन विभाग ने जो है हमारे आग्रह कर उसको छूट देने का उसमें कर दिया है। तो 50% छूट जो है बसों में मिलती है उनको, बसों में सभी प्रकार की प्राइवेट निजी जो भी हों सरकारी सभी में उनको 50% छूट मिलती है और 5 सीटों का आरक्षण रहता है उनका।
On the instructions of the central government, an UDID card of every Divyang in the state is being entered in the Sparsh portal. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
The 8th edition of annual Indian Navy-Sri Lankan Navy bilateral maritime exercise Slynex 20 is scheduled off Trincomalee, Sri Lanka from today. It will continue till 21st of this month. The Sri Lankan Navy will be represented by SLN ships Sayura and Gajbahu. Indigenously built ASW corvettes Kamortha and Kilton will represent the Indian Navy. The Ministry of Defence in a statement said Indian Navy Advanced Light Helicopter and Chetak helicopter embarked on board in ships and Dornier maritime patrol aircraft will also be participating. Slynex 20 aims at enhancing interoperability, improve mutual understanding and exchange best practices and procedures for multifaceted maritime operations between both the navies. The Ministry of Defence said Slynex series of exercise exemplifies the deep engagement between India and Sri Lanka which has strengthened mutual cooperation in the maritime domain. Foreign Minister of Bangladesh A.K. Abdul Momen said Bangladesh has invited Prime Minister Narendra Modi to join the celebrations of the 50 years of the country's independence on March 26th next year. Dr. Abdul Momen disclosed this when the newly appointed High Commissioner of India Vikram Doraiswamy made a courtesy call to him in Dhaka. Dr. Momen said Bangladesh and India will celebrate Bangladesh's 50 years of independence together next year. He hoped that Prime Minister Modi will join the celebrations in Dhaka. A virtual meeting between the Prime Ministers of India and Bangladesh is also likely to take place later this year. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi was scheduled to visit Bangladesh to join in the birth centenary celebrations of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The visit was later cancelled due to the ongoing pandemic.
Israel and Bahrain have formally established diplomatic relations after signing the U.S. brokered deal in Arab country's capital, Manama. At a ceremony in Manama last night, officials of both the countries signed 8 bilateral agreements. It includes a joint communique on the establishment of diplomatic, peaceful and friendly relations. The two countries are now expected to open embassies. Earlier yesterday, a high-level delegation of American and Israeli officials flew on an Israel Airlines charter flight from Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv through Saudi Arabia's airspace en route to Manama. U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin and Israeli Prime Minister's National Security Advisor Meir Ben Shabbat led the delegations. Following the signing, Bahraini Foreign Minister Abdul Latif Al-Zayani said, "It is indeed a historic visit to start opening relations between both countries." Bahrain is now the 4th Arab country in the Middle East after UAE, Egypt and Jordan to recognize Israel. Mnuchin and other U.S. officials will today travel to the UAE, where the accord with Israel has uncorked bilateral commerce. Tomorrow, the U.S. dignitaries will join the UAE's first delegation to Israel. Israel's Transportation Ministry said Israel and the UAE will sign a deal tomorrow to allow 28 weekly commercial flights between Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion Airport, Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
In Pakistan, tens of thousands of opposition supporters rallied yesterday in Karachi as part of a campaign to oust Prime Minister Imran Khan. Yesterday, opposition leaders Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, Maryam Nawaz, Maulana Fazlur Rahman, Mahmood Khan Achakzai and Mohsin Dawar arrived at Karachi's Bagh-e-Jinnah for the second power show of the joint opposition front, Pakistan Democratic Movement PDM, against Prime Minister Imran Khan-led government. Thousands of people assembled for the anti-government rally. People were seen waving opposition parties' flags and raising slogans. This was the second power show of the 11-party opposition alliance PDM. The first was held in Gujranwala in Lahore.
In Thailand, hundreds of anti-government protesters defied ban and demonstrated in Bangkok yesterday against Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha and the monarchy. Demonstrations have persisted despite the arrest of dozens of protesters and their leaders, the use of water cannon and shutdowns on much of Bangkok's metro rail system in a bid to quell over 3 months of street action. The protest, which is taking place across Thailand, is spreading to other parts of the world, with solidarity protests being held or planned in Taiwan, Denmark, Sweden, France and the United States and Canada.
On to sports. In IPL cricket, Kings 11 Punjab triumphed over Mumbai Indians in a thrilling second super over after both the matches and the first super over were tied for the first time in the tournament's history in Dubai last night. In today's encounter, Chennai Super Kings will clash with Rajasthan Royals at Abu Dhabi. In badminton, former world champion Nozomi Okuhara clinched the Denmark Open title, beating three-time world champion Carolina Marin in women's singles. In the men's singles final, world number 7 Anders Antonsen of Denmark defeated his compatriot Rasmus Gemke. In the mixed doubles, fourth seeds Mark Lamfers and Isabel Hertrich became the first German mixed doubles players to win a Super Series event after defeating Chris and Gabby Adcock of England. In an all-Japan women's doubles final, top seeds Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota downed second seeds Mayu Matsumoto and Vakana Nagahara. Marcus Ellis and Chris Langridge of England defeated Russian pair Vladimir Ivanov and Ivan Sozonov, becoming the first England pair to clinch the title of men's doubles in the Denmark Open in 45 years.
A new low-pressure area is expected to take shape in the central Bay of Bengal today. The prevailing upper air circulation has led to sporadic rain in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry yesterday. Vallam in Tanjavur district and Perangalur in Pudukkottai have received a maximum of 13 centimeter rain in the last 24 hours. 15 districts in the state are expected to receive heavy to very heavy rain in the next 48 hours. Fishermen have been asked to be cautious while venturing into the sea. In Karnataka, amidst fresh rain and overflowing of river Bhima, the situation remains grim. Indian Army and National Disaster Response Force is pressed into rescue and relief work in Kalaburgi and Vijayapura districts. According to the Kalaburgi district administration, about 157 villages of Afzalpur, Jewargi and Chitpur taluks are affected by the flooding of Bhima river. The evacuation process has been completed in about 55 villages. Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa will conduct aerial survey of flooded areas on October 21st. A report.
The three companies of army men, each comprising of 100 personnel, led by Major Martin Arvind, took up rescue and relief works in villages of Afzalpur, Jawargi and Sagarpur taluks. Karnataka Disaster Management Authority Commissioner Manoj Rajan said that 2 NDRF, 1 SDRF and 1 army column have been deployed in Kalaburgi, while 2 Indian Air Force helicopters are on standby. Officials said River Bhima continued to remain in spate in Kalaburgi, Vijayapura and Yadgir districts, while the surging Krishna River has affected villages in Raichur. Bhima, the major tributary of Krishna, has been in spate for the past 1 week due to heavy rains in neighbouring Maharashtra and in parts of Karnataka. R. Murthy, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Meteorological Department has issued warning of heavy rainfall for at least 4 days in Odisha from today. While orange warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall has been predicted for Ganjam and Gajapati districts of the state for tomorrow, Yellow warning for heavy rainfall has been issued for at least 3 more districts today. The forecast is based on the likely formation of a low pressure area over east central Bay of Bengal. Fishermen have been warned against venturing into deep sea area of central Bay of Bengal from today till the 22nd of this month. Now let us tell you the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was recorded at 19 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 34 degrees. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The minimum temperature was 27 and the maximum will be around 32. In Chennai, rain or thunder showers would occur towards evening or night. The temperature will hover between 25 and 32 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The minimum temperature in the city was 27 while maximum will be around 33. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 16 in Jammu while the maximum will be around 35. The city will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the sky will be mainly clear as well. The temperature in Srinagar will hover between 5 and 26. Ladakh will have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was -5 and the maximum will be around 20. Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will see a mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 4 and 29 in Gilgit. In Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature was 11 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 32 degrees. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has said the government has taken a number of steps to tackle air pollution. In a Facebook Live last evening, the minister said, pollution is an issue in every country and the chief causes of pollution in India pertain to traffic, industries, waste management, dust and stubble burning. He said the problem of pollution cannot be solved in a day and continuous effort is required to tackle each contributing factor. Mr. Javadekar added the government took a significant decision to implement BS6 in the country, which will lead to decrease in pollution. He further said that from now, only BS6 vehicles will be available in the market as they reduce pollution as compared to BS4. The minister stated around 15,000 square kilometre area has been converted into tree cover in the last 5 years.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The findings of the Government Committee of Experts tracking the trajectory of COVID in India finds top mention in most newspapers today. India went past peak in September. COVID may run its course by February, says panel. Headlines the Indian Express. Community spread in some districts amid centre, writes a Pioneer. Cases declining, but winter festivals may trigger spike, reports the Asian Age. WHO welcomes India's stance against vaccine nationalism is a front-page headline in the Hindustan Times. Quoting a Japanese study, the paper backs WHO's guidance for regular and thorough hand-washing to limit transmission. Punjab farm fire sends smog signal to Delhi, hope in Panchayat action, reports the Indian Express. Delhi's neighbouring states witnessed 1,230 farm fires yesterday, a high, making up 17% of bad air, says the Times of India. In order to check foreign influence in our domestic affairs, new FDI rule for digital news to check Chinese, other overseas funding, reports the Economic Times. And finally, the Statesman captures an illuminated Howrah Bridge depicting Mohan Bagan's victory as champions in the I-League.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver a keynote address at Grand Challenges annual meeting via video conferencing this evening. Mumbai Metro to resume services this morning. Indian and Sri Lankan navies to begin their annual exercise Flynex today. Israel and Bahrain formally established diplomatic ties following a US brokered deal. And in badminton, Nozomi Okuhara clinches the women's singles title at the Denmark Open. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.